The bench press is one of the most common exercises in the gym and also one of the most common bad forms in the gym. Most people push it straight up and down, and that's also because they're sitting back too far and they're going to hit the rack. Sit more towards the seat, just enough where you can still do the lift off. It's helpful if you have a spotter. I'm used to doing it on my own. I don't recommend everyone do it without a spotter. I go towards the mid chest or the nipple line and push it slightly back towards the shoulders. My elbows are more like an arrow than a T. This is going to save my shoulder from impingement. It takes a little bit getting used to, but this is the safest way to do the bench press. As you see from this view, if I'm doing it like a T, I'll show you by sitting up. My traps go up. My shoulders abducted. Pick the elbows like an arrow by depressing the scapula. If it's up, I'm going to get an impingement of the shoulders. Everybody feels this from doing bench press. Elbows like an arrow. It's actually a safer position for the shoulder and uses more chest, like you're pushing someone in front of you, like an offensive lineman. You can use more chest muscles like this. I'll show you from this angle. This is as wide as the elbows really should be. I'm like pushing the limit on this one. So I lift it off. Now it's near my mid-chest. Elbows are still in enough. I'm pushing it slightly backwards towards my shoulder. You can see better from the side view. Watch the bar path. My wrists are always strong. I never flex or extend my wrist. Elbows come inwards like an arrow, and I push towards my shoulders. Much safer on the shoulders. From the top view, you can really see it. This is going to give me impingement like a T, so I bring them in a little bit more. You might have to slide your hands slightly more in than you're used to. Make sure your wrists are strong. Aim towards the midline of the chest, and then push it towards the shoulders. It's strange at first, but you'll get used to it. That's what it looks like to do 225 safe. I'm pushing my feet into the floor. You don't want to make it like a T, like I said, or you don't want to push your butt up in the air. Arching the back is fine, like the powerlifters do, but their butt is on the seat when they do it. And you also don't want to be shifting left and right. If you're doing that, there's an imbalance, and you want to start with dumbbells to get equal strength in the arms. Now, if you want to increase your bench press, other than doing chest, the bar has to go towards your chest, right? It decelerates before you actually push it up, which means you also have a strong back muscles. Using a landmine, for example, I had this neutral grip handle, so you want to keep your core tight. See, if I was arching or rounding my back, I bring my shoulders back just like that, just like I do on the bench. I bring them back and inwards. I retract and depress. So the first thing I do is keep my core tight. Don't round it. Don't arch it too much, but keep it tight. Engage the thoracic spine, the shoulder blades, before you pull. You can see how if I'm too far back, I'm going to use my arms, almost like a hammer curl. Then you're just doing arm workout. Drive the elbows to the ceiling. Just like that, my forearms are virtually parallel to the wall next to me. Core activated. You can also use a more like T version of the bar. It's a wider handle to get the upper back and posterior deltoids, but you still don't want to go too wide on the elbows. You still kind of want to make slightly an arrow. If you go too wide, see, I'm abducting, I'm using my traps, so bring like slightly like an arrow, and you'll get your posterior deltoids. The same thing with the barbell. Now, see, I bring the angle like this. You can lower the weight a little bit to get this angle. It actually matches the angle of like your spine. If I go straight up, I'll be shrugging using my upper traps too much. So look like this, slightly like an arrow. Pulling it to my upper abs. If I pull it too high toward my sternum, well, I'm shrugging. So it looks just like this, like an arrow. The core is very involved in here, so you gotta be careful. If I switch to underhand, I do the same angle, but I pull it to my lower abs or towards my belly button. And you really squeeze the lats on this one. If you don't have a barbell or you want to use a dumbbell, that's fine too. You can use a bench and pull it straight up is fine, but you're going to use a lot of arms. Your arms will fatigue before your lats on this one. It's like doing a hammer curl again. You're going to feel your arms on fire. So what do? Push the dumbbell slightly forward towards your eyes or your forehead and pull it towards your hip, like an arcing angle. The tension should be on the pinky, where you're pulling from the pinky and not the thumb. If you pull with the thumb, you're going to notice your arm is tired, right? You can step back, get a little more legs and core, and do the same exact angle, or do a split stance. The tension should be on the pinky, the bottom of the dumbbell, aiming towards the top of your hip. Straight up, it's going to be more arms. Now, you can also turn pronated, pull it more wide like a T, but if you pull the dumbbell towards the shoulder, you're going to be flexing your elbow too much. So drive the elbow backwards. Your forearm should be parallel to the wall in front of you. Again, the pinky should have the tension. Then you're going to use your posterior deltoid. Here's another version of doing a reverse fly. So we're going to get mid-traps, rhomboids, posterior deltoids. Don't swing it like this. You're getting momentum and you're turning. You actually want to stop the dumbbell right where your knee is at. That way you get constant tension.